moved to the high desert. We moved to the high desert. So we knew we wanted space. Didn't need to be a ton of land, but before, you know, we're in suburbia, we're in an HOA, and we used to have an RV, but we didn't have anywhere to store the RV on the property, so you had to pay someone to store it in literally a parking spot that wasn't even covered, and it was just little expenses like that that just didn't make sense. And we have animals, we wanted space for them to be able to run around, and we wanted more animals, and just to kind of step back from the crowd of the city and be back in nature and just kind of have a nice little space to ourselves. So we finally found that. We were able to find a great spot, and there's certainly a lot we want to do to the place, but a big part of us picking this location was it was already fenced in. And so with our dogs, we weren't gonna have to worry about them getting out, which is huge. So that was certainly one of the big selling points. And there's a lot more we want to do. It'll come in time, little by little. But we've been here about a month now, so not a ton of time, but we've certainly been busy with projects in that short amount of time. And here's a look at some of them. The very first thing we needed to do was take down and then put back up this fence after installing a new septic tank, which just so happened to go right up to the edge of that fence line. Had to scout the property and cover up any holes so the dogs didn't get out, plus ensure that the gate would actually lock, so we had to adjust the drop rods. And if you haven't caught on yet, the dogs come first around here, so our next project is also for them, installing a run. Level that out a little more in there, but for now it is good. It has a roof, so predators are not getting in. And then the next step is that panel actually can be detached, and that's where the doggy door is going to be to go inside the house, so that they have access to a safe spot and can get indoors. Now, gardening is something I'm really looking forward to. One of the kind of my main draws to having a little bit more space. I had a garden at the old house, you know, in time, slow and steady. I first had a little patch in ground and then eventually made some raised beds out of cinder blocks, and they were great. I loved them. They certainly did the job, but you know, it's a small little backyard, and I was doing it on the side yard to not really take away space from where the dogs were kind of running around and having their play space. So I wasn't going to start on the garden so soon, just because it's the middle of summer in Southern California in the desert and it gets hot. but of course, when things go on sale, they get my attention. So I went ahead and I purchased some Birdies raised beds. I always liked them, and decided, all right, now's the time. Let me go ahead and order them now. Let me go ahead and put them together now and try to get things somewhat established, because since I don't really have like a layout decided or the exact location, needed to figure out kind of where the sun went on the property as well, and what's really going to make the most sense for future plans even. Is it going to be in the way down the road? Where's it going to be the easiest to put in irrigation? So kind of all of those thoughts have been going through my brain, but I'm glad I ordered the beds when I did, because they're easy to put together. They're not quick to put together, but that's fine. That's just fine. We're gonna get there. So not planning to plant anything right now. Again, things will just fry right now, especially just getting kind of started. But my plan is to kind of have everything together and installed so that this fall I can really go ahead and put some plants in and have a successful fall and winter. And winter is going to be really interesting up here because we are at a much higher elevation than we were before, so we're actually going to have frost, and on a rare, not so rare occasion when a big storm comes through, we'll get snow. Haven't had to deal with that before. Did not deal with snow in the Coachella Valley. Rarely ever dealt with frost. Like, I don't think I ever did. I was more concerned for like the golf courses, not my garden in the backyard. With the cinder block beds, did the layering method of, you know, filling it up so you're not filling it all completely with soil. Definitely to help kind of save money. Plan to do that again with these beds. There's a lot of trees on this property, which is amazing, but they really need some trimming. So planning to take those trims, kind of fill the bottom of the beds with any of the branches. There's pine trees on the property, so there's a lot of pine needles all around. If we rake those up, can use that as fill. But I'm curious if you happen to have raised beds, or if you had them in the past, kind of what was your preferred method of stacking it up? Did you find more efficient ways of making it happen? And then I think the next thing I need to do is figure out how I can get bulk compost delivered, so I don't have to just get a whole bunch of bags, because that's going to add up fast, and also it's just a little bit more tedious going bag by bag as opposed to getting like a whole truck delivered. I can put one of the small Birdies beds together by myself, but the bigger ones, they take way too long individually. So Nick jumped in, and especially when it comes to those support beams, definitely helps to have two hands to kind of hold it all together. This is the large bed, and obviously we had a lot of spectators around, but unfortunately they would not help us. And we timed this build. It took us exactly 40 minutes. The hope of this channel is just to build a similar community. YouTube has taught me so much. So many accounts have inspired me so much. Some of them being Tiny Shiny Home and Edge of Nowhere Farm, both in Arizona. Absolutely love what they're doing, love what they put out, watch weekly. Sailing Good, Bad, Ugly, you know, they're in Puerto Rico, but they're building stuff from scratch. So love seeing that. Of course, Epic Gardening in San Diego. Yeah, that's who influenced the Birdies beds, all right? But just seeing accounts like that, and I, even more than just watching the videos, I like going through and reading all the comments on the videos, because there's so many other ideas and other people's experiences and what worked for them. So it's inspiring to get out there and want to do it yourself as well, and just learn something new in the process. So if you have any accounts that have inspired you, that you really like to embody, please share them in the comments. I'd love to go give them a follow, but it's kind of that similar setup as to what I'm hoping to do with this channel. They've inspired me so much. Maybe I can inspire a group of people as well, and build a community in the process, and kind of just continue to learn. I think that's the biggest thing, is never want to stop learning, and learning to do things for myself like this, rather than just going to the store and always buying something that is pre-built, or always hiring somebody to do the job. I want to learn to do it all. So let's see if I can. That's what YouTube is for, right? Okay, another bed is built. Let's go put it in place, okay? Another bed in place. Just finished that one right there. So it's coming together. Still have one more that needs to go right there. It's going to be another one of the long ones, the 10x2. But put it in place. We're trying to like mock it up as to where we want everything to really go and what's going to be the best flow. So here's the idea. Not set in stone, but the idea that this would be like a gate, because we'll have to fence it in with animals around. There'll be a gate. You'd walk in. These are the 15-inch small birdie beds, but in 2 configurations. So kind of the long one, more of a square one. Same here. And then these are the 29-inch large birdies beds. One hefty one, another one just like that. And then this is the 10x2, nice and long. So gonna do one more to kind of frame it in there. Need to kind of still level out the ground, or at least kind of bury them, I guess, a little bit. So one more to go right there. And then would have a raised bed section. And then the thought is where that rock is maybe that could be a greenhouse. Doesn't need to be anything too big, but because we do actually get frost and on the occasion some snow, that there would be a place to do some seedlings and just kind of move things in to a more protected environment as needed. So still gonna take some time to really come together. That's what we're looking at. Already starting to get the pile of the tree trimmings, and need a whole lot more to fill up these things, but still have a long way to go, but just getting started. And it's only been about a month, and little by little we will get there, and we will make this our dream property up in the high desert of California. So if you have any advice when it comes to filling raised beds or other accounts to follow, please leave them in the comments below. See you next time.